Back with another edition of the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. With you as always, Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, NFL.com. Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star. I'm Soren Petro from Sports Radio 810 WHB. We are going to buy or sell. We've got a number of things we're going to get to, like Josh Simmons, how long is he going to play? Anybody getting a head coaching job off this coaching staff? Patrick Mahomes and the MVP, Chiefs winning the division, all kinds of things. We're doing it right here, right now on the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast.
You are listening to the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs on planet Earth, breaking down the Chiefs like no one else can. Red, Gold, and Bold is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Sam McDowell is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Soren Petro is the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. The Red, Gold, and Bold podcast is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are the hosts of the Best Chiefs podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro.
Oh, yes, the trials and tribulations of getting things off and running here on the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. I'm going to buy or sell, gentlemen. Let's dive right into it. Let's get at it. At the end of the year, Josh Simmons is going to grade as a top 30 offensive tackle by Pro Football Focus. Sam, you buying that or you selling that? A lot of hype around this kid right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna tell people that I'm not going to fence sit on every one of these. Look, we intentionally made these difficult to pick, or at least I think a good majority of them difficult to pick. This was difficult for a couple reasons. One, rookie offensive tackles typically aren't graded that well. Number two, when I look at this as far as the grades, I always sort by the get at least half the snaps of whatever the highest snap is. So the 50% snap, in which case you also have to buy some health. Like, you can't cheat your way onto this by playing 5 games and grading well. You're banking on being good and healthy. And like I said, every question we have forces you to hop off the fence, and I think I've got a pretty good idea on most. This one was really tough to start out the gate, but I'd rather buy than sell this, I guess.
Okay. So he's not going to sit on the fence, Jeff. He's going to buy it. I gotta think that you are going to be on the other side.
That's a safe bet. I'm not the numbers guy here, but I imagine somewhere Sam can break down the rankings of last year. I know he told us Joe Alt was the highest graded offensive tackle last year. I think it was 66 was the number that he threw out. And
he's the only one above 66 in the last 2 years.
Last 2 years. Okay. So I don't think
as a rookie,
So I don't think Josh Simmons is going to be Joe Alt. And I fully expect he's going to have his ups and downs. I don't ever bet on players coming back from major surgery, especially leg injuries, to set the world on fire, and certainly not somebody I've never seen play in the NFL. I hope he does well. I hope that I'm proven wrong here. I think he has a bright future. I just don't think he's going to be a star right out of the gate.
I'm looking here.
Alt was 20th, by the way.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So he doesn't have to be as good as Joe Alt.
But you're talking about 60 tackles total then, right?
So, well, actually, it usually winds up being a little bit less than 60, since I sort it by the fact you've got to play half the snaps, which I actually had not. I just realized I had not done with Alt in his group, so he moves up to just 19th. He moves up to well, you're probably including the postseason. I'm looking at regular season.
Okay,
so 19th was where he ranks.
Okay,
that's the whole season.
The regular season. Yeah.
Regular season. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, so you're not seeing a Joe Alt-like performance. Well, doesn't quite have to be Joe Alt. I think it's a good point. To me, the whole thing is, and I'm glad Sam clarified, got to play 50% of the snaps, right?
Yes, which was previous high. Sorry to cut you off, Soren. Just to give people the context of this, previous year's high at 23 was a rookie who finishes ranked 40th on this list, and that was DeJuan Jones in Cleveland.
Okay. I'm gonna homer up. I'm gonna buy. I'm going to buy. The math is to sell because the injury is, listen, he's made 3 practices and now everybody has him good to go for the next 15 years. The reality is that injury is a big part of the equation here. So you really should sell. The smart mathematical one is to sell. But I think if he does get the snaps, he's going to make it. The pedigree was that he's really good and was going to be the top offensive tackle. Joe Alt was the top offensive tackle in his class. That's where top offensive tackles finish. I'll say this. I'm going to buy. Sell would be the smart move because of injury, but I feel pretty good saying that if he doesn't get hurt, if he makes the snaps, he's going to make the list. So I'm going to buy on that one. One of the Chiefs coordinators will turn this season into a head coaching job next year. Sam?
I'm going to sell that. I believe that Spag's time as a head coach is probably past. I mean, his resume's there. If Steve Spagnuolo was 45 years old, he'd be a head coach somewhere else right now. But he's got 2 things working against him. One's his age. One is the fact that defensive coordinators are not the most sought after position right now. Matt Nagy is the much tougher part of this equation. And I think with the proved offense, he could get another look because let's face it, the 2 years he's been the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, these last 2 years, their offense has taken a step back and he's still gotten interviewed. I really wonder how much Matt Nagy would be swayed by the fact that it's lining up pretty well for him to be Andy Reid's successor. And however long that might be, is he willing to wait on that? I know he loves Kansas City and, his kid went to high school here and is going to be at KU. And he could be close there. And I think there's a lot working in his favor, that relationship with Brett Veach, having been college teammates, to where if he's a successor, does he take a bad job? And not a lot of good jobs open up in the offseason.
Agree. Or Jeff, I'm sorry, you go ahead. What do you got?
No, I agree. I agree with him. I mean, I think you're probably in the same boat. I don't think either one of them, because of Andy Reid and because of Patrick Mahomes, are that highly valued outside of Kansas City. I think there are defensive coaches out there. Like I think about Mike McDowell being one, and Aaron Glenn, who've gotten opportunities, but younger, considered more innovative, attached to the right people. There's a good and bad that comes with being Andy Reid's assistant coach. And because both these guys have been that and had head coaching jobs, it kind of becomes a scarlet letter for you. So I do think Matt Nagy, who's got more kids in high school coming up, makes a lot of sense for him to wait for that job to open up with the Chiefs.
I agree with what you're saying about Steve Spagnuolo, but I think it's the wrong thinking from other clubs. Number one, as the but as the defensive coordinator for Andy Reid, it means you get to do your thing. Right. And so from that standpoint, I think they should be all about him, like, because he really handles, every bit of the defense. He's not just like, giving some tips to the head coach who handles that. But I do kind of think that somebody wants someone younger. It would have to be kind of like, who was it? The Broncos gave a few years ago, the old
Vic Fangio.
Give me something like that where somebody swings and misses on a couple of other guys for him to get it. Mm-hmm. And I do think that if the offense bounces back, Matt Nagy will be hot will be warmer. Let me put it that way. And you might see some interest there, but him having a chance to coach Patrick Mahomes, if Andy Reid's given him any indicator that's going to be fairly soon, I think you stick it out in Kansas City. I'm going to sell it, although I won't be shocked if we end up getting this one wrong. I think there's the potential there for that for Matt Nagy with a bounce back year to be a fairly warm option. He won't be option number one, but Bill Belichick failed in his first stop. It shouldn't eliminate somebody from getting a second job. This one should be interesting. Patrick Mahomes will finish top 3 in the MVP. Sam?
I'm buying this one. And it's not this like, hey, I'm around him all the time rationale. I think a lot of people would buy this one and fit into this revenge tour narrative. I truly don't buy into that narrative at all. I'm picking this because I think he has the best wide receiver group he's had since Tyreek Hill left, and the best offensive line group he had since they had all the injuries and, you know, the AFC Championship ahead of the Super Bowl in 2020. So I just think he's got a much better supporting cast, and therefore he's going to be better positioned to put up numbers. And I also think their running game is not that great. If they want to move the ball, they're going to have to throw it. And I think they will lean on him more than not only than last year, than even they would prefer to, because I think they're going to find out that the running backs aren't getting them where they want, and they've got wide receivers, they've got better protection, and therefore it lines up pretty well for him to put up better numbers than he has.
I will completely buy into the revenge tour narrative, because revenge has been a dish that he's served really well to people. You know, I mean, like when he is challenged, he rises the keys. First of all, he just about wins all his games. Can we just start there? The guy flat out wins. Question is, do you think this offense is going to be better? If you're buying on the left tackle being top 30 in PFF, you should be buying on him being top 3, because I believe, we've talked about it before, you know, he didn't play well. Did he make mistakes? Sure. But I think the root is those around him didn't play well. I think he looks a lot better when he gets a little time, a little consistency, and I think we're going to see him back at an MVP level. And I think there's a little bit of an FU from the whole organization, right? Oh, we're done. We don't have the offense anymore. You know, he's not a 99 in Madden. You know, there's nothing but reasons for him to be motivated. And I think for this team to be motivated, to stick it to some people. And offensively, there is a lot invested in the team. I mean, if Josh Simmons is the left tackle, why wouldn't he be top 3? What let me ask you this. If Josh Simmons is a top 30 left tackle, why doesn't this offense hum? And why wouldn't that put him back into the top 3? Or do you think it's like, hey, I'm just playing the math because he could be really good and still finish 4th or 5th because people don't want to vote for him?
Injuries. I mean, look at this week of practice. Xavier Worthy's out because he's in concussion protocol after a catch. Hollywood Brown's already injured. Travis Kelce is going to be 36. So I think
and Rashee Rice is facing a long suspension.
But Sam, that does not help my point at all. Okay? You're not helping me at all. Stop with the facts, Sam.
I'm not even saying that's the most likely. I'm just saying, like, that's the answer for how Josh Simmons is okay, but the rest of it still could have some issues.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm curious, Jeff, do you think that he's going to get near the top 5, but you just think top 3 is just, you know, that you're just kind of playing the math? Or
He actually hasn't even said his answer, has he? We're just assuming it's going to be.
You know what? I already put in Jeff's.
We already know it.
I already put down sell for Jeff. I already put him down. Go ahead and sell.
Yeah, and Sam gave you the reasons. Sell. Yeah, definitely sell.
I'm sorry.
And not like, I don't think Mahomes will play well. I think he's played well the last couple of years and certainly been let down in situations. But Sam's right. I look at that receiving core, and if the worst case scenario happens, which is Kelce shows more age and is not highly productive, Rashee Rice suspension or this knee injury becomes a debilitating factor for him, and Hollywood Brown does Hollywood Brown again, is hurt, and Xavier Worthy is hurt or just doesn't really ascend, I mean, that's a huge, huge problem for this offense. I mean, I think and I get it. Look, they've been a great offense for a long time, and there'll probably be a better offense, but to jump to elite, which is what it would take to get him into the MVP conversation, I think that's really tough, because he's going to start out in the top 3 or top 5. I think when the season kicks off, his name will be in that place. And the problem he has is that every misstep they have, or every game he doesn't throw for 500 yards, he's going to keep going down. And there's just more competition. Look at the season Lamar Jackson had last year, and he didn't win. I mean, it's just like you have to keep outdoing yourself. And I think for Mahomes to be an MVP, it would have to be a 4,800, 45 touchdown, 10 interception season. I don't see him doing that with this group.
I think if this group is healthy, I think he is going to do that, right? That's why I'm buying. I think they are going to get back. I guess my question to you, and sorry for again, I wrote down sell before you even said it, so I knew that's where figured that's where you're going to go. Yeah. But so, do you think Mahomes can play at that level if the other things are around him? Do you think he's still a guy that plays top 3 MVP?
I think he can play at that level if everything is going right. I don't think that. Here's the point I'm making is that most people now consider Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to be on par with him ability-wise. They may not have the wins and the championships. A lot of people see them as being the same person, right? And so now Joe Burrow is in this conversation. Jaden Daniels is in this conversation. Jalen Hurts
Jalen Hurts was a friends tier 1,
yeah, could be in this conversation. And so there's at least 4 or 5 other quarterbacks that have a legitimate case and have performed better than he has. I mean, what Josh Allen did last year with less talent than Mahomes had, that changes the perception of Mahomes. And he has to do more to be in the running. And I think that's probably nationally how people feel about it.
You think Josh Allen had less talent than Patrick Mahomes did last year?
I think he did more with what he had than Mahomes did with what he had.
Josh Allen had one of the 3 best offensive lines in football. And we're talking about Josh Simmons being the best way that Patrick Mahomes can improve. I think we have to acknowledge that Josh Allen played behind a pretty good group last year.
No, I would say that. But then I think people knocked his receivers. I mean, people didn't think his receivers measured up to what the Chiefs had, right?
Yeah.
Well, they started with.
What they started with,
yeah. That's a fair point. All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue with our buy and sell after you hear from our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, proudly serving the greater Kansas City area. Nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor. Locally owned and making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Let Gann educate you about the most cost-effective way to solve your parking lot problems. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews. Every project comes with a written warning. Gann Asphalt keeps your parking lot safer and helps you and your business avoid unnecessary delays and costly expenses. Find Gann online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Northland Injury Law, Kansas City's Google 5-star rated personal injury lawyers, serving KC for more than 40 years, voted Kansas City's #1 accident lawyers, helping people with serious injuries from car accidents, work accidents, falls, and other personal injuries. Northland Injury Law doesn't get paid unless they get money for their client. Don't wait, get compensated now. If you have a case, text HURT to 22222. That's HURT to 22222 or call 816-400-HURT. That's 816-400-4878. The choice of a lawyer is an important one and should not be based solely upon advertisements. All right, let's move on here, guys, with our buy and sell. The Chiefs will win the AFC West for a 10th straight year. Sam, buy or sell?
This isn't a test for me. This is a test for Jeff to see if he will buy any of these. I'm buying this. I mean, I think this was the easiest one on our sheet, and this is not a guarantee, but look, the Chiefs are the rest of the AFC has tightened the gap on them, but I wouldn't pick any of those teams over the Chiefs. And this question is asking us to pick the field, and I still wouldn't do that. I'd still pick the Chiefs over the field.
They are still favored against the field.
They are,
time I looked at one, they're at -110 to win the division. So they're favored against the field. Jeff, I have not forgotten you because I actually think there's a chance that you might buy on this, but I have already written down sell.
All right. You guys haven't sold anything yet, or you guys have been 3 for 3 with buy?
No.
I sold the coordinators ones. And
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. No, I'm buying this one. I mean, it's just.
Oh wow!
I think I would not be surprised if they didn't win. I don't think it's a lock by any stretch. I'd probably give them. I'd probably say 60% chance they win it, which is probably the lowest.
Not where the odds are.
Yeah, it's about where the implied odds are. Yeah, but
That's
the
where
implied odds are probably upper 50s even. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm right there with the odds makers.
Once again, you're a tad more optimistic than,
that's right.
than the odds are. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they will get dinged more. I don't see them running through the division as they did last year when they only lost one game that they pretty much gave away at the end. And so, yeah, I think they are as susceptible as they've ever been to losing. But when you've won 9 straight, it's hard to go against that. So I think even with better competition, I would still put my money on them.
We've always said it when it comes to the Chiefs, Jeff Chadiha, duckies and bunnies and rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, I like it. All right. The Chiefs won't bench an offensive lineman all season. We're talking about.
Hey, did you buy or what did you buy? You bought it?
No, I bought it. Of course I bought it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I bought. I mean, they've won 9 in a row. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. If there's a freight train coming down the track, you can ride it. You can get the F out of the way. Sure as hell don't stand on the track and try to stop it. And so you play the Chiefs every time, as long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are running the show. And until they've lost, you don't get in the way of that freight train. I do think this is I think it's the most questionable year. I think the odds may have had
since Mahomes. I think you have to say since Mahomes.
Yeah, in the Mahomes era for sure.
Because this streak predates.
Two of the years are Alex Smith, and the AFC West was crashing and burning at that point. Yeah. But yes, I don't see any reason to do anything but stay on the train until it comes off the tracks. Right. And I like all the moves. I think the team on paper looks better. I think the Chargers and Broncos look better, but they look better, and they seem to know how to win games. I mean, Justin Herbert, people got excited because they quit putting the ball in his hands late, right? Like that was their solution. And we've seen, the great rookie quarterback come back to earth. I think it's going to be a big test for Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels to see how they appear. So I think there's a lot of reason to be on the Chiefs. Really, the year that we might be needing to circle is 26, when it's been now it's been several years. This might be the year that those two teams are reading their own press clippings a little too much. All right, so I'm buying. Chiefs won't bench an offensive lineman all season. We're talking about due to performance, not injury. Benching him, not they get hurt. Sam?
I'm selling. I think this happens again this year, but a different position. Like, I'm not anticipating that Josh Simmons is going to get benched, but there's 2 options, and this question allows me to be right if either of them. I think there's an option with Juwan Taylor, and I think there's an option with Kingsley Sumatia. And Andy Reid did not hesitate to do this a year ago, and when he turned to the bench last year, it was, who do I go to? And he still said, that guy. I want this player off the field, and let me go to the next best option. This year, he's going to feel like he's got an option. The Chiefs feel like Jalen Moore can start in the NFL. And he's been rotating with Juwan Taylor at times. And the last practice the Chiefs have had was Wednesday. Juwan Taylor was out again with the knee injury, resting that. And then the 2 days earlier in the week, Jalen Moore is getting snaps at left guard. Rotating with Kingsley Sumatia at left guard. And, we had talked about the competition for Kingsley Sumatia. Where is it? Well, there it is. And so I think that Jalen Moore starts at some point this year, or, this question enters a game this year because of performance.
Just to be clear, Jeff, the Chiefs won't bench is how it's written. Won't bench an offensive lineman all season. You buy him.
It doesn't say for how long. It could be a quarter or a half.
Yeah, could be. It could be like Juwan Taylor. That's was it the first
Jaguars game?
Yeah, the Jaguars game where they set him down for like 6-7 snaps. I mean, that would count.
Yeah. Well, they benched Wanya Morris too for a certain period, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, they benched 3 left tackles.
3 left tackles. Yeah. I can't lose track. I'm trying to think of
2 mid-game. Yes, 2 mid-game. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's definitely buying this.
So
wait a minute.
First of all,
I'm sorry.
this is such writer language. It's pretty obvious I'm the one who phrased this because I put a negative in there. But Sell believes you mean they will bench somebody. At some point.
Then I'm selling it. Selling it. Okay, I'm selling it. Yeah,
I love how Soren and I just didn't hesitate to know he had to misunderstand the question based on his answer.
that he's buying. Yeah. No, I would say. But I thought about it. I thought there's a part of me that thinks they're going to put a square peg in a round hole as long as they can. But I do think that Jalen Moore, given the money they spent on him, they want to find some place to actually get some return on the investment. And it does make sense that he would be a quick pull out of the bullpen for somebody. I think it's likely Jawan Taylor. And I do feel as if last year spooked them a lot. So trying to get this resolved quicker and having more options will lead to a quicker trigger when it comes to somebody. I don't know who that'll be. But to me, it's ironic that Josh Simmons could be so high up on your guys' list, and the rest of the offensive line could be so problematic that you could be looking for 2 replacements and not have a problem with your offensive line. It still would be a problem if he's playing well and the other 2 guys aren't playing well.
I listen. This is the easiest one. First of all, I always try to give credit to these are smart guys that make smart decisions. So I want to give credit to Andy Reid and Brett Veach and say, okay, they know what they're doing. But, Kingsley Suamataia went horribly wrong. I've never seen someone play that bad and then come back to be someone you just don't question at all just because you moved them at a position. And Jawan Taylor seems to have 1 foot out the door already. I mean, it's everyone in town knows he's not going to be back next year. I don't think he's happy about that. I don't think he's happy about what's going on. And Jacksonville turned their back on him. They drafted him and they walked away from him when he was a young free agent. So you could tell that they were tired of his crap. So I don't see where it will be real different here with the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I'm selling. I think it's highly likely and probable that they will end up benching someone.
Sorry, Soren. I think there's an interesting element of this question, which is with Jawan Taylor, he got benched and played later in the same game. And I think as a veteran player, 5 years into the league, he could handle that. You bench Kingsley Suamataia this year.
He's done.
You are very likely to lose him forever. Because you did that to him last year and you never played him again.
Yeah.
And you have to bench him again in a new position. And I think, like, if you're answering yes on just Kingsley Suamataia, then you're saying this is probably it for him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Kristian Fulton will play 10 games. All we're asking for, Sam, 10 games. Buy or sell?
Well, since I've not seen him play 10 snaps yet at practice, I'm going to have to sell that. I mean, he is off to as ominous a start, I think, as I can recall for a Chiefs free agent signing. I joked about this once, but Kadarius Toney at least got 1 snap in of camp. And we don't know how serious this injury is that he's dealing with either, and like how far behind he is.
It's just a cleanup. It's just a cleanup.
Right. I think that, he'll be practicing before the season starts, but I don't know what I'm basing that off of. I think the Chiefs are still wondering exactly when that's going to happen too.
Jeff?
Oh, you knew what I was thinking a few back, right?
I already have sell written down.
Yeah.
Let's let our readers guess who put this question on the list.
This was my question. Yeah, I had to put a ringer in there for just for old time's sake. I mean, this is it. I bet he might not play 5 games. I was trying to be optimistic about it. This feels like a disaster, and I think it could have a huge impact on their secondary. And I think they already know it's a disaster, and they're trying to figure out how to deal with it because it's for them to have messed up the messaging part of it. Like Sam said, we don't know what this is that he has or when it happened. Has he even talked to the media at all? Has you guys met him?
First of all, they hide everybody up there.
When he signed up.
Okay.
But yeah, since the injury, no. I mean, that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, if he's here next year, I'd be surprised. I'd be eating that.
It's only a 2-year contract, but how did a team that values youth so much sign a guy that when he plays on the opening day will be 27 and has a history of injuries? That they value youth and health. How do they do this?
Draft crush.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's it. Oh, I'm certainly selling. There's no choice on this. There's nothing to even say.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not even an option. Of course, you're absolutely selling. And if you're buying, you're just a fanboy, which is fine. You can be a fanboy, but there's no reason to do any kind of buying on this one. This looks like bad news. I'll take a break. Hear from our friends at Northland Injury Law. Northland Injury Law, Kansas City's Google 5-star rated personal injury lawyers, serving KC for more than 40 years, voted Kansas City's #1 accident lawyers, helping people with serious injuries from car accidents, work accidents, falls, and other personal injuries. Northland Injury Law doesn't get paid unless they get money for their client. Don't wait. Get compensated now. If you have a case, text HURT to 22222. That's HURT to 22222. Or call 816-400-HURT. That's 816-400-4878. The choice of a lawyer is an important one and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, proudly serving the greater Kansas City area. Nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor. Locally owned and making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Let Gann educate you about the most cost-effective way to solve your parking lot problems. With free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty, Gann Asphalt keeps your parking lot safer and helps you and your business avoid unnecessary delays and costly expenses. Find Gann online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. All right, let's move on here. The Chiefs will have to win a road playoff game to appear in a 4th straight Super Bowl, Sam.
I'm buying that. I don't think the Chiefs will get the #1 seed this year, and that's actually not because of my opinion of the Chiefs. It's just because of the circumstances that other teams have. The Bills have by far the cleanest path to the #1 seed. They have the second easiest schedule in the AFC. Jeff brought this up, and it was so crazy that I think we double checked it live on air, and it was. They only once leave the Eastern time zone, and it's to Houston, Texas. Like, that is their hardest travel that they have all year. And the division's a piece of cake. I just think it's all lining up for. They also play the Chiefs at home. I just think it's all lining up for the Bills to get the #1 seed. And look, there's another way that the Chiefs can still play it, not have to travel, right? I mean, they've done that before when. Who was it that the Ravens got knocked off by Tennessee in 19? Like, this happens in their favor, but I'm not going to predict that the Bills get the #1 seed and then, crap out in their first game.
All right, Jeff.
I'm buying it as well. I think a lot of these teams in the AFC realize that if you want a shot at beating the Chiefs in the playoffs, you better start fast. You better secure some home playoff games. And so I think not just Buffalo, but I think Baltimore's in that same boat. Cincinnati, if they're able to figure some things out, I think they'll probably have a faster start. Certainly the Chargers and the Broncos, teams within their own division. I think all these teams are going to be looking for opportunities to get in a good position come January and feel like they can do it. It's different when you're just trying to turn your franchise around or hoping your young quarterback grows up. Like, most of these teams are in a position now where they can legitimately come into a season thinking about how do we get to a Super Bowl. And part of that is going to the Chiefs, but the other part of it, as the Chiefs have proven, is making sure you're taking care of business and playing home playoff games in January.
Yeah, I think that I'm buying as well. I think the schedule's rugged for the Chiefs. All the things you said about the Bills is 100% true. They have the path. That's the team that looks like the 1 seed. Baltimore might be the best team. Buffalo might be the best team. But even if Baltimore's the best team, Buffalo has the path. Like you mentioned it. That schedule, like, what? They don't even leave the time zone? Like, except for a trip to Houston, that's as far west as they go. Like, that is amazing. And they are primed and they're pissed. And I think it's going to be real. I think it'll be really tough for the Chiefs to get the 1 seed. Doesn't mean they can't win the Super Bowl, but it'll be really tough for them to get the 1 seed. All right, the Chiefs offense will rank top 5 in yards, Sam.
Well, I feel like hedging my bet here, so I'm selling. I'm gonna sell that partially, literally just to try and hedge a little bit, but also because I don't believe in the Chiefs' running game. And if I don't believe in their running game, and like my rationale for Patrick Mahomes finishing top 3 in MVP is going to have to pass more. I think in today's NFL, when I say today, I mean just as of opening week last year. The running game's got to be part of it with the way defenses have been playing teams to get in the top 5. So I think they improved, but I'm going to say they wind up in that like 6 to 8 range.
Okay. All right, Jeff.
I'm selling too. Going back to the previous discussion about Mahomes MVP, just the way the Chiefs play offense and the way Mahomes talks about playing offense, I know that there's always this sense of Andy Reid's going to devise it and they're going to execute it because Mahomes is so great. But I think there's also an understanding about what it takes to win games. And Sam's right. If their run game is not effective, defenses aren't going to sit back and say, go ahead and light us up. We'll give up 40 points. Like, you're not just going to make it happen because you want to. Now, people say, oh, the Bengals do it. Well, the Bengals have Jamar Chase. They have T. Higgins, and they can play that style of football anytime they want to. It's a little different with what the Chiefs have at receiver. And so I do think that they'll be closer to being top 10, but I think they're still probably going to be in the teens and not putting up a whole bunch of points like people have been used to. Not just yards, but points.
No coordinator is going to get a head coaching job. The Josh Simmons is not going to be top 30. They're going to bench an offensive lineman, right? Like, you better not have him top 5 if you're in that.
Yeah, I'm being consistent. Yeah,
you are. You're making total sense. And I'll throw in injuries all over the place to anyone could knock them out of this. You need a lot of things to go right, but I'm still buying. And I like Sam's point about the running game is a good one, but I do think Isaiah Pacheco is going to bounce back. And I don't think he's going to be 1,400 yards, but I think he'll get back towards 1,000. I think the running back position overall has the potential to be better. Running game won't be great, but I think it's going to be good enough. And I think Josh Simmons is going to improve the running game as well. And so I'm optimistic that the offensive line, and by the way, Joe Thuney was not a great run blocker. So they do have a chance to be better running the ball. They'll be worse pass blocking with Kingsley Suamataia. But I do believe in this offense. I think it's time to, dare I say it, unleash the fury for the Chiefs this year. So I am buying.
Starting now.
Right now.
That's right. We should have put Isaiah Pacheco bounce back here on the list so we can discuss that one. We don't have time to get to that one.
Yeah, I'm bounce back to what he was, not bounce back to more. Bounce back to what he was. All right, Trent McDuffie makes the Pro Bowl. Sam?
I'm going to buy it. And look, at these odds would not be listed at minus 110, so you get plus money on this if you were buying it. But my rationale here is that I think he does play more in the slot. I've seen him play there a lot in camp, even with Kristian Fulton sidelined. I thought maybe with Fulton sidelined, they would say, okay, we've got to keep Trent McDuffie outside. We've still seen him play in the slot some, not all the time, but some. And I think if he does that, he's going to have and earn the reputation of being the best slot guy in the NFL. And I think that would help his cause to get into the Pro Bowl.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to shock you. I've already put your answer down, but I have it as a positive. I have you buying.
Okay. Look at that. The amazing Crespin. You got your turban on.
That's my prediction for what you're going to say.
You'd be right. You'd be right about that. And partially for me, he's talented enough to have made it already, and he's gotten a bigger accolade, I think, with the All-Pro honors. But I think being an All-Pro a couple years in a row gets him some street cred, and his name is circulating a lot more now in these conversations about the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And so that helps to get you a little more promotion when it comes time of year for voting. People see your name more and hear it more. And I have to believe that Jalen Ramsey getting traded to Pittsburgh and all the offseason drama with him probably is hurting his name. And so you start looking at, okay, who in the AFC, they paid Derek Stingley, they paid Sauce Gardner. How many guys? You got 4 spots. How many guys are going to get in the running for that? And so I think he's definitely in the conversation now, and I think he would definitely be considered a top 4 corner in the AFC when the voting goes down.
Well, Jeremy Fowler listed the top 10 in the NFL, had him 4th overall, had him in front of Sauce Gardner. Now, I don't think everybody's just going to change their opinion because that was written, but that's not Jeremy Fowler's opinion. That's a collective that he takes of polling NFL personnel. So I think a lot of people read that. I think a lot of people saw it on ESPN. I think people are hearing about what he's going to make contract-wise. I do think once you get paid, that really pushes you up like, whoa.
Exactly.
If he got paid, I mean, he must be good, right? And so that bumps your name up there. because no one was that big on J.C. Horn until he got paid. And now he came in at like 6 or 7 on that list as well. So I definitely think he deserves it. Number one, should have been there already. And I do think that this is going to put him on the radar screen. I think this is going to, everyone's going to go, okay, he's the real deal, right? Like, the injury is a problem. I do think if Kristian Fulton's out, that hurts, but I'm optimistic Noel Williams, and I'll be up at camp tomorrow as we record this, or today as we record this. He's been
getting a few snaps here and there with the ones, which was not typical in the first few days. There's been a little sprinkling of him with the starters, mostly with the twos.
Yeah, I think there's the opportunity for that secondary overall to be better, and if they're better, he'll reap the rewards. So I'm on board. I'm on the buy. Jeff, you're more positive than I think people could have possibly imagined.
Yeah, it was what, half of them?
Yeah, exactly.
About 375, 380, 400 I hit.
Yeah, you did well. Well. I like it. You can support the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast by supporting our great sponsors like Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot, proudly serving the greater KC area for more than 30 years. Nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor. One contractor, all things parking lot. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. And Kansas City's #1 accident lawyers are Northland Injury Law. Google 5-star rated. They've been serving KC for more than 40 years. If you've been hurt in an accident, text HURT, H-U-R-T, to 22222. Whether it's a car accident, work accidents, falls, text HURT to 22222 or call 816-400-HURT. Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star. I'm Soren Petro saying thanks for joining us here on the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast.